students for
Hello.
Hi. This is helpful. So basically we're going to go through the plan here, and we're going to try to follow it and see if it makes sense. And then in class on Thursday, you guys are going to do the same thing. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is take a look at your fetal pigs. So like I said in class, these are fetal pigs. So they were taken out of a mother's uterus before they were born. And they're a product of the meat industry, right? So we didn't, thank you. We didn't, these pigs weren't killed for this purpose. They would have been thrown away if we didn't take them. So it's I think, an ethical use of them. You have a diagram in the guide showing the different parts. So you're sort of going to want to take a look at the pig and see if you can identify different things. You can see the head, of course. You can sort of open the mouth, right? And you can see the teeth and the tongue. This pig is pretty small, but I'm surprised the teeth are actually pretty well developed. That's the tongue there, yeah.
Wow.
Okay. You can see the ears. You can sort of feel it, see what it feels like.
Oh, okay.
The skull, you can actually feel it's hard, but there's like a division in the skull bones because the skull is made of more than one bone that fuse together, and you can actually feel those. And there's a bit of a soft spot right there, and we'll make use of that later for cutting the skull open. You can sort of flip it around. You can see the umbilical cord is still attached. So that's where it was attached to the mother, right? And then you can try to look and see if you can identify if it's male or female. It's not as obvious as humans, and it's also not as obvious in a fetus. But if we look at the diagram, in a male, you should be able to see sort of the testes a little bit. And the female, you don't. But in the female, there's a little opening, the urogenital opening, behind a papilla. So we sort of got to pay attention to that. And what do we think here? There's like nothing there. Well, yeah, that's what you might think, but... But these could be testes.
What?
Inside.
Inside? You're just stressed me.
I don't see... So there's the anus. これは?
Is it a... Yeah, is it a girl? It's pinching. Wow.
But there should be a little opening above the anus if it's a girl. I think there is. There.
It's a girl?
Yeah, I think this is a girl. And I think this is matching. This is the genital papilla. Correct. And there's no, even though I thought there's no testes. Okay, so I think when we're in class, we'll see both, so it'll be easier to compare, right? This is hard because we only have one. So we stretch out the legs, and then the first step is to start cutting from the navel to the neck. And we want to do that in such a way that we open it up without cutting any internal organs. I think, and it doesn't say this on here, I think we cut off the umbilical cord first. Is that right? Be careful with the scissors. We have two kinds of scissors. These are safer. You can't really poke yourself, but they're not as sharp. And these ones are sharper, but it's easy to poke yourself, so you want to be careful. So we can cut the umbilical cord off. You can look inside. You should be able to see like 2 different blood vessels in there. There's like an artery and a vein. It's sort of hard to tell, but... So one's taking blood from the mom to the fetus and one taking blood from the fetus away. When we're cutting it open, maybe we want to use the round-tipped scissors so we don't damage internal organs. And we want to try to lift up the skin and go into the... here. here. And then cut up. And then we're actually cutting through the sternum, like the rib cage. So that's going to be a little harder, but it is a fetus, so it's not that hard. And there's the heart in there. So we want to be careful not to damage the heart if possible. And bring these out and just let me know if I'm doing something wrong. Keep going. いい感じだね. This looks good. The key with dissection is to sort of take your time so you don't damage anything. If you damage something, it's hard to go back. You can't reverse it. But if you go slowly, you can be careful. There's sort of there's membranes inside that you can carefully cut away so you can see what you're looking at. So that's the heart. And this is the diaphragm there. You see the diaphragm separating the thoracic cavity from the rest of the internal organs. And we can cut down this way. And yeah, you can use your group members to help turn around. It's easier to turn the tray than to turn the pig. And then we cut down this way in the same way. And you can start to see the digestive system organs more clearly. So you can see the intestines there really nicely. One of these is like the bladder. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but let's keep going. We only have 40 minutes today. We gotta be quick. Okay, I think that's good. We can maybe cut through the diaphragm here, just so this separates a little bit better. When we do that, you can see the liver. That's the liver, right? You can see the stomach, right? That's the stomach. Notice the liver has like 3 lobes. 1, 2, 3. You can sort of explore. Under the liver, that's the gallbladder, right there. So that's what's producing the, maybe cut this little thing away. The gallbladder is producing the bile, that's emulsifying the fats. And then we have the stomach here. And then somewhere under the stomach should be the pancreas. But pancreas is hard to see. Maybe that's the pancreas, right there. So that's the structure that's making all the enzymes we talked about, like trypsin and lipase and amylase. In bio, we didn't do that, did we?
No.
I think they cut that from the curriculum. And these are your intestines. So we got the small intestines, and then the large intestine. It's sort of all connected.
Wow.
Back, I think this is a kidney back there. And another kidney. Okay. We can, if you ever find there's too much like fluid inside, you can sort of just go like this and like drain it.
Ooh. Oh, it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out.
So you get a little better view. Okay. You cut away some membranes. And we get that. Behind the heart now you can see the lungs. Back here.
Whoa.
See that? Yeah, and you can see the rib cage nicely. So we're not actually removing any organs yet. We're just trying to clearly identify them and see what we can see. And so you should look for the things you studied, the lungs, the liver, the stomach, the small intestine, large intestine, the heart. The heart, you can clearly see the top two chambers, the small ones, those are the atria. They're really small. And then the bottom chambers are the ventricles. Okay. So we did our cutting. We saw the internal organs. If you want, I didn't do this, but if you want to flatten the pig out more, you can cut. You can cut in the armpits, just so it sort of lays more flat. So that's something you can do if you need to. You could also cut here if you want to make things easier to see. All right, so that looks pretty good. We got a good view. We sort of identified everything. Cut connective tissue, so that's what we've been doing, so we can see things. Decant the blood, so you can, again, you can try to remove as much sort of fluid and blood, so you can see things nicely. And then everything's sort of quite clear now, right? Lungs, heart, stomach, liver, intestines. Okay, turn the page. You can see the structures in the diagram there. Yes, so this is why you're not bringing your hand out tomorrow, because it's going to get all gross. Look for the lungs and locate the trachea to make an incision. Insert a straw with a syringe and supply air. So we're going to try to blow up the lungs.
I think we need to get out the heart.
Yeah, we should take the heart out. It doesn't say that. Detach the heart from the lungs. Carefully remove the lungs. Should we do it in this order and leave the heart in there this time?
Can we find it?
Let's just explore a little bit. Now, the trachea is going down here, and it's a little bit hard to find. Some pigs have some sort of fat and connective tissue up here, so you sort of have to like explore and look for the trachea and feel it, because it's hard. I don't know what this is. Fat, right? I think I feel it. That's the voice box, right? So you're looking for the trachea, and you're trying to sort of isolate it a little bit. So I got the scissors underneath. Maybe we can cut up a little bit more, just so we can see. I may have cut it, I'm not sure. There we go. There's the trachea. You see it? It's got these sort of rings of tissue around it. So it's a little tricky to expose the trachea. The idea is to expose it without cutting through it, because we want to keep it intact so we can blow some air into it. Well, no. Okay. Now, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we have our trachea, that's going to the lungs. This is our voice box. And then, we usually cut through the voice box. Yeah? You can cut through the voice box. And then, we can stick a tube into there and pump some air in there with a syringe. So we're trying to inflate the lungs. So if we find the opening, and it should go down into the trachea. Yeah, I can feel it. Yeah, going down, right? And be careful, because it's fragile, so you can break it. And then we can pump it up. So get one person to maybe hold it. Okay, and then we'll pump air into it, and look at the lungs and see if you notice what happens. Oh, it's not happy. Let's take it out. So that's let's first inflate it again. Yeah, that didn't work very well. Let's try it again. Try it again. There we go. So we can see the lungs inflated and they become much more easier to see. And then you can touch them. So all those little alveoli are filling up with air.
Wait, those are
and
what?
you can't see the alveoli because they're microscopic,
Ah.
but you can feel how the tissue is so spongy. And then we can try to remove all of this. The heart and the lungs would be nice. And there, it is a bit rushed, to be honest. One period is a bit rushed. When you're actually trying to remove the lungs, you can actually see the esophagus, I think, going down into the stomach. We'll see if you can see it. Maybe it's that one on the bottom. Yeah. 難しいね。I got a little bit of liver maybe on here, but that's okay. Oh, so this is the esophagus going down into the stomach. So that's sort of behind, that's going in behind everything. If you cut through it, it's okay. In fact, you can cut it off. And then we can maybe cut up here. Again, our goal here is to try to remove the lungs and the heart together. There we go. And then you can use your additional tray to put it in there. And so you can see the lungs, the trachea attached and the heart. And then you can remove the heart. If you remove the heart first, that's okay too. So that's the heart. And these are our lungs. Now you can see the lungs clearly with the trachea going down, and it's going to divide into the two bronchi. And you can see the lungs, they're not just like, it's not just two, there's actually like lobes to them. There's a couple lobes here and a couple lobes there. It's nice looking lungs. And there's our heart. We can cut through the heart. So I'm cutting through the ventricles. And then you can see there's clearly like two chambers, right? Separated, right? So you can see that. There's sort of blood in there, hardened blood. And you can see the two chambers there. It's a small heart, so it's very hard to see things like the valves and so on. But you can actually put your forceps through to the atria. And this way. You might be able to find the aorta. See that? I think that's the aorta. So coming out of the, what side? What side does the aorta come out?
The right side.
Right.
Left of the heart.
Left ventricle. でしょ?
Yeah.
Right.
So you can sort of see if you can find those major blood vessels, pulmonary artery as well. Take a look. And just note the atria are very like small. They're not very muscular because the blood just has to pump down to the ventricles, but the ventricles are very thick and muscular, so you can see that. Okay, so we got the lungs out, we got the heart out, we cut the heart. Now we can look at the digestive system, so we can remove the stomach, intestines, liver, and gallbladder. Again, if you got lots of blood, you can sort of drain it. Okay, so I guess we can remove the liver. That guy out of there. Okay, that's the liver. You can see it's a pretty big organ. That's the gallbladder right there. That makes the bile. Okay, so you can set that aside. And then you have the stomach, and this is the esophagus. So that's the tube that goes from your mouth down to the stomach, right? This other tube, by the way, is a blood vessel. This one, that's sort of attached to the spine. Then we can remove the stomach. Now you might think there's going to be food in the stomach, but remember this is a fetus, so this pig has not eaten anything.
So it's a nutrient.
Well, so,
Oh my god.
but there may be fluid in there because it's been in the uterus and probably swallowing amniotic fluid. So it's going to be full of fluid, so we can cut it open if we want to.
Oh.
And it's interesting, there is like something in there. Maybe you can sort of get a look inside. Mizawa-san, what is all that? Yosi. Amniotic fluid.
Yeah.
Stomach acid. You can feel the inside. It's not really much to notice there. I guess we could check the pH of that. It's probably acidic. The pancreas sort of disintegrates because it's such a fragile organ, so I can't see it anymore. That's why it's important to find it before you start cutting. And then you can try to remove all the intestines. Sort of cut them away. You can see those guys. You know, they're all connected by connective tissue. So you can, if you have time, you can try to separate them. And if you really have time, you could separate the whole thing and you could measure how long it is.
すごい。それ破裂するかな。
Yeah, it's sort of. Okay, so you can start separating it, but don't spend all your time separating it because there's still more to see. So I'm going to set that aside. How are we doing for time? When does this class end? 20. Okay, 10 more minutes. You can see the kidneys in there. We studied the excretory system, so you can see those guys. If you want to remove them, you can. It's not in the instructions, but we can take a look at them.
It's kind of big.
Yeah, they're bigger than you might think. There's a ureter, so that's going to carry the urine down to the bladder. There's 2 of them. You can sometimes just sort of pull away the connective tissue and then cut. Sorry, it's hard to see. And there's another one. Okay, and again, you can see the ureter. That's going to connect to the bladder. I think this is the bladder. Maybe. Maybe. I think that's the bladder. Okay. Yeah, this is a female. There might be a uterus somewhere. But it's sort of getting confusing now because we cut so much out. Okay, what do we want to do next? Brain. Okay, remember I said the brain has 3 bones there that come together and there's a soft spot. So you can sort of cut the skin initially in an X shape to reveal the skull. Right, so you can cut this way and cut this way. Be careful because it's easy to slip and then poke yourself or poke your partner. And then we can sort of peel back the skin
Right.
of the scalp.
Oh, wow.
And since it's so young, the bones are almost transparent, and you can sort of see the brain underneath. You see the brain? You can sort of see brain structure there. And if you touch it, thank you, it's soft in the middle. And you can actually get some scissors in there. I might use the really sharp ones. But just be careful you don't like destroy the brain. The brain is surprisingly fragile. That's why it's protected by the skull. And then we can sort of go this way. Again, be careful you don't stab each other. And yeah, it's always good to turn so you're just cutting away from you and not cutting like on a weird angle. Okay, and then you can sort of pull the skull away and expose the brain. You can also sort of cut around if it's not pulling away easily. It's sort of like maybe a little harder than your nails. Okay, it's not as hard as you might think it is. Yeah, maybe, no, maybe, I think you're right. Let's go that way. Just this way, yeah. That's the brain. So you can see the brain, and it's sort of, you can touch it gently. It's like pudding. It's so, like, fragile. It's amazing that that is, you know, where your consciousness is. That's where you exist, in that little pudding structure. Okay. Okay, so you can sort of see the brain there. Take a look at it, and then you can try to get it out. Just sort of scoop it out like, but you'll notice like the moment you take it out, it just disintegrates. Okay, there's a lot of fat in the brain. It's sort of, yeah, once you take it out, it doesn't hold together like a brain. I think an adult human brain would be much more solid than this. It's sort of gross, isn't it? Yeah, so you can take it out. Try to do a better job than I just did. That wasn't very good. But you can see inside the brain cavity then. Okay. The last step is a little time consuming, but it's to take an eye out. So the eyes are still closed because it's a fetus. So we're gonna open her eyes. We sort of get in and try to cut the eyelids off. And you can use the tweezers to pull up. This part, to be honest, we might not have enough time to do in one class, but if you're efficient, maybe. So you basically want to expose the eyeball by removing the skin, the eyelids that are closing it. And you need to be quite patient. You can start to see the eye there.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And it's tricky because you don't want to like destroy the eye, but you want to make it visible. Now if you mess up one, there's another one. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. There we go. You can see the eye. You can see how it sort of can move around. And yeah, you can sort of cut it away a little bit. Now the hard part is if you want to get it out, so there's the hard skull on the back side. You can sort of push a little bit, but then you want to get behind it because there's an optic nerve holding it in there. It's not like your eye can just fall out that easily. So you can sort of get one person to maybe lift it up, and then the other person can cut underneath. And just be careful you're not pulling too hard or the eyeball might just pop into your face. We don't really want it. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we can keep cutting. Okay, so get the eyeball out. It's an eyeball. If you have time, you could clean it up a little bit by cutting away some of the tissue. The more you can sort of clean it up, the better. Then the last thing we can do, once you're sort of done checking out the eyeball, is we can try to get the lens out. So inside the eyeball is a lens that focuses the light on the back of the retina. And we should be able to get it out if we're careful. Okay, so you got your eyeball? Eyeball. Eyeball. So that's obviously the front, the pupil, and I think we want to get to a side, and then you want to use your sharp scissors, and you want to slowly, like, try to cut through it, but you want to do it a little bit at a time. Yeah, this is why I would never be a good doctor. Just hold still. I would cause immediate death to my patient. Oh. 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 これじゃない？違う？ある？どこ？ある？この中？I think the lens is in here. It got a little bit squashed. Oh, there. But if you look, it's a little bit damaged, so it just looks like liquid almost, but there is a lens in there. And you can see it sort of magnify. If you put it over the text, it will magnify it a little bit. Now, I was in a rush, and so I damaged it a little bit. So if you can do that a little more carefully, it'll be good. Notice also there's black stuff coming out of the eye. That's so that it doesn't like reflect light everywhere. Like it's dark in there, right? So the light hits there and it's not bouncing around, so you can get a clear image. Yeah. So if I had time, I would probably do the second eye because I didn't get the lens that clearly on that one. You should be able to get a clearer lens. This is sort of the damaged lens tissue there. But if I had time, I would do the second eye. But that's the idea. We'll try this tomorrow, okay? Thanks for watching.